What's going on, guys? I know I'm live here. I'll go ahead and show my face this time, although I can't really be looking at the camera because I'm driving. But election night tonight, right? Did it go? Did it fully go the way I wanted it to? No, right? I mean, I would have. I would have preferred it to have done better, right? I mean, but I'm also a realist, you know. I'm a very realistic person, you know, and I have to keep a lot of factors in mind. All right. I knew that a lot of the things that happened were going to happen, right? Like I knew, like always, Florida was going to be tight. Like, you know, I knew that. Now the thing that it happened in Florida, and it happened in Georgia, and for some odd reason, and I'm being very sarcastic when I say that, it happens in a lot of Democratic counties that, like, the machines stopped working, we got to fix them. Everybody, please wait in these long, ridiculous lines while we get this fixed, right? Now, you can say, and a lot of people say, well, look, they fixed these machines, that the machines got fixed, you know. I get it, you know, but sure, the machines got fixed, but I mean, this is a Tuesday. People are in a long line. People got to go to work. People have kids. People just, after an hour or two in line, they just leave, right? So, of course, that's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference in an election that was won by less than a percentage point, right? And I kind of knew, as soon as I saw those reports, I knew it's going to be close, and the Republicans going to win, right? I just knew it. You know, that's the law of the land, whatever, right? It's not the law of the land, but that's the way it goes, right? So I wanted Gillum to win, actually, you know, but he didn't win. Now I'm not too upset because I'm no offense to anybody from Florida, but I'm not from Florida, right? So I'm good. I mean, I'm stuck with the Republican governor anyway, right? I'm here in Texas. Now, I was hoping that in the Senate, you know, I was hoping that Beto won, but I'm realistic, and I didn't think he was going to win. You know, I didn't say to myself, this guy's going to win, you know. I knew he was going to win El Paso County and the counties next to it, and Austin and Houston and Dallas and San Antonio, the only places that people will give a fuck about Texas, right? But I knew what the little ass towns, and I've been to these towns, I knew what they were going to vote. You know, I was surprised. That it didn't surprise me, right? You know, we are where we are, okay, here in Texas. But I will say, I do remember there was a time when, as soon as the polls closed, the projected winner was the Republican, right? The moment. And now, you know, it takes a couple of hours for them to announce Texas. Like tonight, you know, I kind of figured Cruz was going to win, but I knew they were sweating it for a little bit, you know, because it took about 80% of the votes to be tallied for them to finally project him the winner, which was interesting. Now we just got to get to the 90, and then we got to get to where we can't really count the winner to the very end, you know, and Texas is getting there. Little by little, Texas is getting there, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is oil country, you know what I mean? This is, you know, it's all the little towns here just overwhelmed with the big cities. It's the reality, you know, and that's that, you know what I mean? So the Senate, look, I was realistic, all right? Now, first of all, I'm an independent, okay? But for this election, I did want the Democrats to take the Senate. But I knew they weren't going to take the Senate, right? And the reason I knew, by the way, I think I saw somebody post in the chat. I'm not going to read the chat while I'm driving, all right? The reason I knew that the Democrats were not going to take the Senate more than likely was because most of the incumbents were Democrat, and many of them were in red states, right? So I did the math in my head, and I'm like, there's no way. Like if the Democrats are lucky, it'll stay the same, or they'll lose like 1 seat. You know, I figured that would be a win for them. But I know there's some people saying there was no blue wave but again, if you look at the math here, you look at the incumbents and you look at the states they were in, like Arizona, you know what I mean? Florida was another one. It was just difficult to keep those seats. I mean, Joe Manchin, the only reason that motherfucker kept his seat, okay, was because he voted for Brett Kavanaugh, okay? And that's the reason, okay, he did the okay for Brett Kavanaugh to become a Supreme Court, right? And if anybody was wondering, that's the only reason that motherfucker still has a Senate seat right now. He sold his soul to the devil to do it, right? But anyway, I do know that the Arizona one's still too close to call, but usually in elections, I just found that the later it goes, a lot of the early voting is gone, and the Republicans seem to win all the time when it's close until the end. It's rare that it happens the other way, but all right. Not to mention that, you know, Florida controls the government there. I'm sure, again, the long lines and there was just a lot of shady shit going on, all right? But, you know, that happens all the time, right? Like, there's a way to win in Florida, right? And Andrew Gillum did it. Like, you know, Andrew Gillum ran the Barack Obama strategy to win it, right? But I just think the Barack Obama strategy is outdated now. You know, like there's just something going on with some of these red counties, man, that they're not flipping on Trump, like at all. Like they're going on, and we all know what it is, okay? But anyway, a couple more things. Let's talk about the House, okay? I fully expected, looking at the country right now, how much disapproval rating Trump has. Okay, everything has nuance, right? Like Trump, yes, it's pretty divided in Florida on Trump, but the latest poll showed him like 52% approval rating, right? He had a pretty good approval rating in Ohio, and you kind of see it with the Senate races and the governor races and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, all right, which is looking at everything, I just knew like there's no way the Republicans are going to win the House, right? Like there's just no way, and you're seeing it right now, right? They're picking up seat after seat. Like I think they picked up like 30-something seats. It's projected that they're going to pick up probably more. I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. I expected that. People talking about blue wave. No, let me tell you something, man. This was the biggest turnout for a midterm election than we've had in a long time. I can't picture the last time, right? So you can't say that there wasn't a turnout, that there was, right? It's just that there was a turnout the other way. But yeah, there's still some seats. I mean, I'm pretty sure some, it might be close to 40 by the end of the night. I could be wrong about that, okay? But that's what I'm thinking, right? But now impeachment is on the table, right? Now subpoenas are on the table. Now Trump can't pass any bill. He could still do executive orders, but he can't pass any bills without the House. You know, a Supreme Court is still an issue for the next 2 years, right? Unless the Democrats take the Senate back in 2 years. But as far as, you know, power goes, there's a lot of things now that Trump's going to have to deal with that he didn't have to deal with before, right? And Trump is already dealing, and now after losing the House, right, you're going to see more Republicans steering away from him, okay, than anything, especially in blue states. So I just see him having a hard time passing anything. I see him having a hard time dealing with the checks and balances that our government should have, right? He's not good with that. This guy thinks that he could just, he likes dictators. He likes Putin. He likes the Kim Jong-un. and all that. You know, he doesn't understand the concept that he's a president, right? And he's gonna have to deal with this. And now we're gonna see, right? Can Trump, you know, work with the Democrats to get bills passed? You know what I mean? And everything is so divided now that I just don't see it happening, right? I think the same treatment that Republicans gave Obama, where they wouldn't pass anything Obama did, right? No matter what it was, like he would bend over backwards for them, and nothing he did, all right? Okay, they wouldn't work with him whatsoever. They would lie. Okay, they would say he's the one that doesn't want to work with them. I mean, it's insane. Okay, first of all, I don't see Trump having that demeanor to even try and work with them. But even if he does, I just don't see them doing anything. Okay, because I'm seeing many people, especially on the left, that just don't want to. They don't want to associate themselves with this president. Right? It's especially like in their districts, being anti-Trump is a reason they won. Right? So if you won because you're anti-Trump, right? Why are you going to work with Donald Trump? You know? Like, well, you know, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you work with this guy if that's why you won, right? Now, the ones that might be able to... Independence is the main reason that they won the House back. And this is significant. You're going to find that by the end of election night, okay, more people voted Democrat than Republican, right? And this will make yet another election where popular vote-wise, there's more people voting blue than red. It's just that there's certain areas where Trump just has like a, let's call it a Trump wall, right? Pun intended for the wall he wants to build. But, you know, but by the way, he needs congressional approval to get the funding for the wall, by the way. So that's going to be very interesting, all right? That's going to be very, very interesting. So things are going to change, man. I mean, things are going to change in terms of, you know, bills being passed. And believe me, I mean, Congress is going to be passed. Everything they can pass, they're going to pass. Okay, trust me. All right, they're going to be passing like so many bills in the next few weeks. It's not even funny. All right, they're going to be passing bill after bill after bill. But I don't know, man. Like now, it's going to be hard for Trump to fire Mueller, all right, the special prosecutor. It's going to be hard for it's going to be hard for him to do a lot of things, right? He's still going to be able to get like you know, let's say a Supreme Court Justice croaks or fucking retires and shit. He can still do that, you know, because that's through the Senate. Okay, he wants to get judges approved. That's all through the Senate. But there's a lot of things he can still do in terms of the way our government runs. But the main thing, like passing laws and bills, it's going to be extremely difficult for him to do it. Now, look, I'm not for, like, the Republicans did it to Obama, and you know, I know a lot of people are just like, well, do the same thing to him. But then if you do that, I mean, we're just setting a precedent where nothing's going to get done when the opposite party takes the House. If Trump passes a good bill, and like let's say for example, right? I remember Bernie Sanders put out a bill where we can compete for drug prices, you know, so we can get drugs from Canada and other states, right? And Democrats fucking voted down the bill, right? Like fucking Cory Booker over there, Mr. Fake Tears, right? If, let's say, that same bill, you know, Bernie Sanders, for example, wants to work with that bill with Trump, and it's going to help people, you know, bring down the prescription prices down, then Democrats should vote for that. You know what I mean? They should pass that. All right? So every single Democratic voter should still keep, like, if you voted for these guys just so they can do everything that the opposite of what Trump does, then you are part of the problem, just like in the other side, right? Like, you're part of the problem with this country, right? If Trump passes something, or a bill, an idea that's going to be good for people, right? that's going to create jobs. Like let's say there's a bill to rebuild our infrastructure, which we need, like that, right? And let's say Trump proposes that. Okay, I'm not saying agree 100% with it, but if you don't work with him on doing that, then there's a problem there, right? And if they don't propose it like that, then there's a problem there, right? I mean, I want to see action here, because if there's no action, if all people see is how they're doing is going against Trump, right? The people are going to notice that, right? It's a portion of the people that voted you in are going to notice that. So that's all I got to say, all right? So was it a blue wave? Well, let me tell you something, man. The Democrats haven't had the House in a while, since Obama was first elected. So this is definitely a good thing, right? And the House is a better way to it gives you a better picture, a clearer picture of what the election in 2 years is going to look like than the Senate races. Because like I said, the Senate race is not in every state, right? And there was more incumbents that were Democrat, and many of them were expected to lose years ago, all right? So like people kind of knew this might be a one-term thing, right? Like even if Beto O'Rourke would have pulled off the upset against Cruz, I think most realistic people were like, well, maybe it's because Cruz is that unlikable of a candidate, right? But anyways, guys, I'm nearing my home. Impeachment is definitely on the table. No doubt about that. Now, is he going to get impeached? I don't know, right? I just don't know. Now, impeach doesn't mean getting rid of him, but we gotta wait. I don't even know what's gonna be the Mueller investigation. This guy's being investigated in New York for using campaign funds to line up his pockets, right? That's an impeachable offense. Like any other president would have been impeached by now, right? This guy has done things that any other president, like if Obama would have done these things, he would have been impeached. But there's just a different standard for Trump. His own supporters just have a different standard for him. So let me give you an example, right? At my job, look, I have a pretty good idea how much everybody makes, right? The guy I know. But there's this girl at my job, right? And she's like, I don't like him as a person. He's a terrible person. But, you know, as a businessman, he's done a lot to help our economy, right? Well, look, I've always said, and honestly, I think he gets more credit than he actually deserves for the economy, because, I mean, the economy was already climbing when he took office, right? But let's not take away full credit, right? But still, we have to acknowledge the fact that it's not like he inherited a recession and a country that was broken apart economic-wise, right? Businesses were making record-breaking profits, you know, when he took office. Like it's not like it's something major, right? And he hasn't fixed, you know, if let's say you don't want to talk minimum wage, right? Half of Americans are making less than $30,000 a year, right? And when you count that with inflation, that's as bad as it's ever been, right? That's pretty bad. If we had the same minimum wage that they had, in, let's say in the 60s or the 70s, minimum wage would be closer to $20 an hour right now, right? So now that's not all Trump, right? Don't get me wrong, right? But what I'm saying is he hasn't improved any of the factors that actually make the economy bad. Our economy is actually in a bubble right now, and any moment it's going to burst, right? So keep in mind, this is a president that, even with a great economy and with all the numbers out there, with that they tout, even though it's not a real unemployment number, right? But still, it's the same unemployment numbers they used for Obama and all that. But even with that, he lost the House. Just imagine what's going to happen, and it will happen, when we hit a recession, right? Just think about that for a second, right? But anyway, the other thing, like the Trump effect, people are lying to themselves, to other people, about how they're benefiting from the Trump, right? Now, I'm not saying there's no one out there that has benefited from the Trump policies. That's not what I'm saying at all, right? But there's people that just make up lies, that the things that just cannot be true, right? Like farmers in America are hurting, but they're still supporting Trump, right? And they tell themselves that, oh, but it's about the long haul, not about the now. Okay, fair enough, right? And then the tax cuts. Let me tell you something about the tax cuts, okay? Yes, they lowered people's taxes for the most part, right? Now, if you're an entrepreneur and you make over like 100,000 or something like that, you don't get as much of a tax cut. You know, in fact, closer to the $200,000 mark, which I don't make. I'm not in that bracket, okay? But I just found this interesting. Like, and this affects small business owners, entrepreneurs. Their taxes in many cases are going up, right? Which I found interesting because $1 million corporations like Walmart get a tax cut, right? Which is insane to me, okay? So the entrepreneur that took the risk and this and that, and then now they're making $200,000 a year, close to $300,000 a year. They're paying more in taxes. But you know, Walmart and Target and all these $1 million corporations, they get a bigger tax break than even middle class people, right? But anyway, a lot of people making around, let's say, like the 20 to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 mark got a tax cut. But I just find that a lot of Trump supporters are over exaggerating the tax cut, okay? Because the numbers don't add up. And I had this girl at my work, and she swore, she's like, no, under Trump, I'm getting $300 more on my check because of the tax, because of the Trump tax cut. I'm like, well, it was only a 2%, like $300 isn't 3% of your bi-weekly check. Like, get the fuck out of here. That didn't even make sense, okay? Right? Like, I know she's lying. I know she's lying because I make more than her and I'm not getting that tax cut. Not that amount, okay? All right, but anyway, plus a lot of people look, some people are going to benefit from the tax cut, some people are not. A lot of you had to wait for income tax season. That's when you're going to notice a lot of things. A lot of you are not going to get as big of a return, because you were getting more in your check, right? A lot of you are going to still get more. A lot of people with multiple kids are actually going to pay more at the end of the day. So it just depends. Like, it's kind of topsy-turvy how all that's going to work. But I also know that even if you're benefiting from it, it's temporary. It's going to run out after a couple of years. But the corporations like Walmart, right, are going to keep these tax cuts forever, right? But anyway, I'm kind of going off here. But so some other things is that it's in West Virginia. It's one of the poorest states in the country. Benefit the most from Obamacare, and they're voting for people that want to get rid of Obamacare, especially like these miners and these former coal workers, right? That have like problems with their lungs and stuff, and without Obamacare, it's like I remember this couple, right, that was voting for Trump, but they admit that Obamacare saved like her husband's life. Like, the husband is only alive because he doesn't have to pay the $23,000 a month, okay, for the prescription that keeps him alive, right? His total amount he paid was like $5 or some ridiculous shit like that, right? But they're voting for policies in our reality because they want to get rid of the pre-existing conditions, and like they're voting for people that want to get rid of these things. It is completely insane. Like, the people that benefit the least from Trump live in red states, which is insane. Like, I actually thought there was a risk, especially like in blue states like New York and Massachusetts and Vermont, or a lot of these states that do net revenue for the country, as in they actually contribute more than they actually take in, which is something other than Texas, red states can't claim, right? The reality is, right? Hold on here. This car here made me lose my train of thought, but anyway, the reality is, I thought if anything, there might be a risk of seats being picked up in blue states because of that. Because those are the people that are benefiting from. I find it strange, honestly, that the people benefiting, like the middle class, that benefits the most from these tax cuts and that benefit really from getting rid of Obamacare. Like me, Obamacare doesn't benefit me, right? I get my my healthcare through my job. You know what I mean? So I don't use Obamacare for that. Like, it would actually benefit me, but I am a liberal. I do empathize and I do care about other people. I do want people that can't afford it to have it. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate that my job provides it to me, right? And if I ever lose my job, I would like to at least have that peace of mind that would be available to me. But a lot of people don't think that way. A lot of people just think very narrow-minded and just think about themselves. And a lot of those people are conservative voters. You know what I mean? It's only until it impacts them that they change their mind on things, right? Like, I have an uncle, right, that he voted for Beto here because he never had insurance, high Obamacare, and all this and that. And then as soon as he got brain cancer, guess what covered him? Obamacare, right? That's what got him the brain surgery. And it wasn't until then that he realized, like, damn, like, I didn't realize that if this shit wasn't around, and I understand this is anecdotal. I'm sure there's cases where Obamacare affected somebody negatively, right? There's a lot of nuance to all this, but anyway, I'm just rambling on. I haven't been on here for a while, by the way. I've been in and out here, all right? So I've been busy. I've been out of the house a lot. I see some comments. Sorry, guys, I can't see them, all right? I'm hoping for, I've been like driving around here hoping for a red light. Here we go. And it turns green. Holy shit. You know what's funny? Like, when you want a red light, have you noticed this? When you want a red light, it doesn't happen. All right? Like, when you're in a rush somewhere, you get a red light. It's weird. But just some things with like Trump voters. Many of them either have been benefited by Trump, and just to them it's like, hey, I benefited from it. Who the fuck with anybody else? Okay, fair enough, right? But I always think that something, it always comes around. You know what I mean? Like me, I don't want them to cut Medicare, man. Like, first of all, a lot of people need it, right? And my grandmother uses that. You know what I mean? Like who's gonna pay my grandmother's bills? Like, I don't want it to cut Social Security. My mom's looking forward to retiring next year. That's what she's looking forward to. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? After she worked for 40 or whatever years of her life. Like, it's, you got to think about these things. Like, knock on wood, I will need Social Security because I have a 401k. But what if something happens? What if I get a terminal illness and I have to use that money and I don't have it anymore? You need those safety nets in our society, right? What I find funny is that many of these Republicans claim to be pro-life, right? And it's always about, it's about me, but then they're worried about other people getting abortions and shit. I mean, I don't mean to put it that way, and if you're religious, then whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm not here to offend anybody. But I don't believe that life begins at the moment of conception or whatever. Like, I don't believe that. That's something that they came up with in the 70s, and they've been pushing that, and then people just start saying it. But that's just not true, man. Like if that was true, then you're committing mass murder when you have sex with a condom and shit, okay? So I'm just saying, okay? And then people just make up stories that abortion clinics throw the fetuses in the dumpsters in the back, and like, these aren't even true. Like, it always turns out these are pictures from Thailand or some shit like that, right? But not that I don't want to reduce abortions, but that comes with sex ed in high school and educating kids about using condoms, not discouraging them from using condoms. Okay, telling abstinence only, like if it's a realistic option and shit, right? Discouraging women from using birth control, and like that's not gonna help the issue. It's not gonna resolve the problem and shit, you know. So that's one of my issues with that. But anyway, the point I'm getting to is they claim they're like pro-life, right? But so when you say, well, okay, let's do Medicare for all now, we can't do that, right? If they die, they die. Let them die. You know what I mean? When there's little kids at the border, like, they're like, I don't give a shit if it's a kid. If he comes here illegally, I'll shoot him. Like, well, that's not pro-life, right? When you don't voice your opinion, about us bombing countries and killing innocent children and funding Saudi Arabia to kill kids in buses and shit, and you don't blink an eye about that, that's not pro-life. There's nothing pro-life about that, right? So if you're going to be pro-life, you got to be pro-life all the way. You can't just go halfway with a pro-life. Like I miss Sid Carlin was like, man, they love you when you're in the womb. As soon as you're out of the womb, like they don't give a shit about you. Okay? Cop kills her kid, they don't give a shit about you. Okay? Like it's insane to me. It's just insane. And I'm honestly like I'm just voicing my opinion here. All right, this is my take. I'm not here to defend anybody. All right. If you want my opinion on abortion, I'll say this, man. A lot of people, they beat around the bush with abortion. I don't. I'm just pretty straightforward, right? Okay. First of all classes of people do abortion. All of them. Okay. The thing is that women that can afford it, right? They get to do it with a doctor and it's private and nobody ever knows about it, right? They even found that a lot of these quote-unquote pro-life people, like women will come out, man, and just be like, yeah, my dad's supposedly pro-life, but if I had like a kid with like a minority, like a black dude or Hispanic, like he's told me like I should get a fucking abortion and shit, right? Like a lot of people are just fucking liars and hypocrites, right? They're just doing it for political gain, and they know people blindly just vote on that one specific issue, even if it's fucking us over on everything else. Okay? I just think that the way the Roe versus Wade has it right now is just fine, right? It doesn't allow taxpayer money to be used to do abortion, which is perfectly fine by me. Okay, I don't believe taxpayer money should be used for that. And it's, I believe it's like right before the 12-week, before the fetus starts building nerves and can feel pain and stuff like that. Before that is when the abortion can be done. Okay, so it was up to me. We might want to lower that a little bit, maybe 10 weeks or 9 weeks, but still, but you just have unreasonable people out there that just believe, like, if a woman gets raped, at the moment the moment the dude fucking comes in her while he's raping her, that's it. She has to carry the baby, and I don't care. She has to carry the baby for 9 months, and like that's just unreasonable. You got people like against. The only reason abortion is an issue is because the Catholic Church started to bring it up in the early 1900s. So that's it, right? The Catholic Church started going on and on about life, and like that's the only reason it's an issue right now, right? That's it. And then after that, it was more of a states issue, and Roe versus Wade just made like federal law, right? And that's it. But that's my stance on abortion. And to me, abortion is not a make or break. Like, if I had to choose between, let's say, saving our economy, getting rid of the wars and other stuff, if it was that or the women's right to choose, I love women and all, but I'm going to have to pick the other one because it's a bigger issue to me. You know what I mean? The other one can be dealt with. Just don't get pregnant, But yeah, it's just the pro-life movement is getting more and more extreme, right? Like, they're getting more and more extreme, man. Like, it's fucking insane how extreme they're getting. Like the moment he comes in here, that's it. Like that's crazy to me. Like now they're against the abortion pill they could take after the night you had sex. They're against that. Like, man, you're against everything. Like it's like that's stupid. That's unreasonable. That's pathetic. Okay. And that's just how I feel about that, right? You know. But anyway, the point I was going to make. The poor are the ones that are attacked because they can't afford an abortion. Abortion is kind of expensive. So they'll go to these clinics who help them out with it, right? And that's where you see all these conservatives with signs and shit show up. But everybody does it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that in the poor communities, you just see it because they know where the clinics are, right? The ones that assist with that abortion since they can't afford it to do it privately, right? But everyone does it. Like every class of people, it's just like drugs. Like everyone does the fucking drugs, you know. But anyway, with that said, I'm gonna finally park in my house. I don't want to wake up anybody in the house. I just drive. Let's see if a cousin was home, but the hell with that. It's already getting late. But anyway, to recap, guys, I kind of trailed off here on abortion and Medicare for all and all that other shit. But a lot of establishment Democrats that are all like, oh, you see, you can't run the way Gillum ran. Like, let me tell you something. Establishment Democrats haven't been winning shit, okay? They couldn't win the House, okay, when they had a fucking Democratic president who was popular, by the way, Barack Obama, all right? So there you go. Also, speaking of Barack Obama, I thought he banned his fucking Mitt Romney to the shadow realm, but apparently we've got to deal with Mitt Romney for 6 years. The dude he's a senator now. What the hell? I honestly thought we were Mitt Romney, but Mitt's back, right? I wouldn't be shocked now that he's in politics again. He's a senator now. I wouldn't even be shocked, man, if Mitt Romney runs for president after Trump's gone. It would have shocked me. Right? Mitt Romney has been having presidential aspirations for a while. Okay, he kind of rivals Hillary Clinton in that sense. But Mitt Romney's like the male version of Hillary. Okay, over there in the Republican Party. He wants to become president so bad that it oozes out of him, right? That's what I'll say. That's it. I'm out. Peace.